Hello everyone, welcome to my channel again. Today the topic is incredible Vietnam travel, guys. So as you know, Vietnam is an astonishing mix of natural highlights and cultural diversity. The scenery ranges from Chao Peaks, seen from Whiting Mountain, pass it down to verdant paddy fields, painted every shade of green in the palette. While the nation's long history and amazing number of ethnic minorities means that culture vultures will find plenty to admire. Vietnam has seen its fair share of struggles, ruled for almost 1,000 years by various Chinese dynasties until 938 AD. Vietnam became a French protectorate in the 19th century. After independence, there was the Vietnam War, and luckily, today Vietnam is a proud country, and you can see why. Not just for fiercely defending its own independence, but for its incredible landscape and history. Along natural countries we seen between the South China Sea and the Laos and Cambodia borders, Vietnam is a land of striking landscapes that range from the lush rice, terrace and forest mountains in the north to the picturesque valleys of the Central Highlands and the fertile delta and beautiful beaches of the south. So amazing, isn't it? The first words of everyone's lips when speaking of Vietnam are undoubtedly Ha Long Bay. I mention it again, Ha Long Bay, a beautiful set of karst islands and formations of the northern coast. Hanoi is the bustling motorbike fuel capital. Massive, like so many motorbikes in there. There's plenty of historical heritage at Hoi An. The beaches park at the resort city of Nha Trang, and the Mekong Delta is full of winding waterway, floating markets and lush scenery. Places to visit in Vietnam are almost endless. Endless. You can be hiker, biker, and outdoor lovers, or single travelers can get your teeth into the countryside within numerous national parks, while the spectacular karst seascape of Ha Long Bay is one natural sight that even the most slothful can experience up close on a cruise. While the rural areas brim with fantastic panoramas, the big cities breathe with contemporary life and provide ample opportunities to get stuck into Vietnam taste culinary highlights. This fascinating country is full of surprise and is one of Southeast Asia's most underrated destinations. It's been underrated because not many travelers know about it, so it's not been discovered yet, and now I'm telling you the hidden gems that you have been missing. Besides, I have to mention the most important one is the karst seascape of Ha Long Bay is one of the world's most spellbinding sea views and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Thousands of limestone islands sit within this bay in the good of Tonkin, extruded into sharp pinnacles by wind and water action over millennia. We talk more deeply about the bay now. So with the bay scenery best seen by boat, this is Bram cruising territory. With its aqua clean water and cluster of limestone rocky outcrops rising from the water like sea dragons, Halong Bay resembles a scene from a fantasy story. Located about 130 kilometers, which is 80 miles east of Hanoi in northern Vietnam, this otherworldly bay features more than 200 jungle cover islands pitted with intriguing caves, grottos, sinkholes, and lakes. Many of the islands have been sculpted over the centuries by natural processes into fantastic formations. Opt for at least an overnight tour to see Halong Bay's iconic views, as a day trip doesn't do it justice. There are plenty of caves in the bay that can be entered, including the Hang Sung Sok with 3 mammoth caverns and the Hang Dao Go with superly weird, very weird, not really weird but like really beautiful stalagmites and stalactites. For most people though, the highlight is simply cruising amid the grass and soaking up the changing scenery of pinnacles as you pass by. Believe me, it's amazing. Halong Bay is one of the world's natural wonders and is always a highlight for Vietnam travelers. It's like one of the best destinations that you can search on the internet to Vietnam. Halong Bay features more than 1,000 awesome limestone crags and islands of various sizes and shapes along the coastline of Bai Chai Beach. The best to tour, see and enjoy Halong Bay scenery is to board a junk boat and cruise around the bay's island. If your time allows, I recommended you to take the overnight trip. Stay over on the bay for one night at least and enjoy your silent night there. Silent night, something like that. A Halong Bay cruise is an ideal way to spend the holidays with your family or friends or just yourself, chill out. Halong Bay cruise ships are fully decorated with lights and holiday-themed music filled with the air. Many cruise lines offer special holiday rates for the months of December. I don't know why, but they do, so ask for it. The best cruises travel to a variety of warm weather destinations, including Halong Bay, Bai Tu, Long Bay, Lang Ha Bay, Cat Ba Island. There are so many different names for each island that been located in the bay. Inside Halong Bay there are so many islands as I mentioned it like previously, and each of the island got a different name. So if you're interested, you can research more about that. I can't list of them in there. So big city fans to visit Vietnam is really complete with our visit to Ho Chi Minh City, the buzzing and crazy commercial hub of the country. The streets are insane clog of motorbikes and cars. Insane, very insane. The restaurant and cafe scene is incredibly cosmopolitan, and the shopping is the best you will find in the country because it's the most modern city in Vietnam. At its center is Dong Quai Street, a relatively small and easy navigable central district. It's like central, which holds most of the city size. Here you'll find the Ho Chi Minh City Museum with a brilliant collection of artifacts that weave together the story of the cities, like it meant purpose to be a museum, and the Grand Notre Dame Cathedral, built in the late 19th century. Also, check out the old district of Dachau nearby for some of the best surviving examples of the city French colonial architecture, and also to visit the Che Imperial Pagoda with its dazzling array of Buddhism and Taoist religious iconography. Afterwards, the History Museum is a must-do for history fans with stack of relics on display from various archaeological sites. I just mentioned some most popular destination in Ho Chi Minh City so far, and you can check it out, note down, check it out when you come to Vietnam. Along with that, you should not miss many attractive sites in the first crowded people of Vietnam, City Hall of Ho Chi Minh's People's Committee. First one, second one, Opera House, third one, Central Post Office, fourth one, Nha Rong Pork, then fifth one, Ben Thanh Market, and the sixth one, Independence Palace. So recently, new projects at Diamond Plaza, Bitexco Financial Tower, Saigon Trade Center are changing the trend. That is like a big shopping place, changing the scene of Ho Chi Minh City. There are also prominent attractive sites with the famous destination is Cu Chi Tunnel. It's a bit like 2 hours away from Ho Chi Minh City. For many visitors, the two big hitter attractions not to miss are just a little out of the center. Along Nguyễn Thị Minh Khai Street, the Reunion Palace, then known as Independence Palace, as I mentioned before, was the residence for South Vietnam's president. It's chiefly famous at the spot where North Vietnam Tank, the big tank in Vietnam War, stopped on the 30 April 1975, officially ending the war. So it's a popular tank. It's completely fascinating place to visit, complete with 1960 furnishing still in situ. Nearby the War Remnants Museum, which although very obviously biased, paints a disturbing picture of the brutality of war and the many atrocities committed by the US forces during their Vietnam campaign. That was a long time ago, but it's still there. So if you're interested in the history, take a look at that. Lying along the Saigon River near the Mekong Delta in the southern Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City was formerly known as Saigon. It still be known as Saigon and served as the capital of South Vietnam during the Vietnam War. Today, Ho Chi Minh City is the largest city of the reunited country, offering plenty of reason to visit. Plenty. You can be bored, sad, happy. You can find any sort of thing you can do in Ho Chi Minh City, from its blend of historic and modern attraction to vibrant shopping, dining, and nightlife. There's so many ideas suggested you what to do in Vietnam, so you never get bored. Whenever you step outside your door, there are plenty of activities, both indoor and outdoor, so check it out. The verdant rice-filled countryside surrounding Sapa, bordered by the jagged peaks of the Hoàng Linh Sơn mountain, often still known by their French colonial era name of the Tonkinese Alps, are home to Vietnam's most beautiful rural villas. Really beautiful, massive mountain. The deep valleys here are home to a diverse mix of the country's ethnic minorities, including Hmong, Cham and Red Yao people, while the gripping hills are terraced. I mean, there's so many hills and valleys, and the tallest peak, Phan Xipang Mountain. You need to check out Phan Xipang. This is the top trekking destination in Vietnam, with outlets of options to trek or day hike between tiny villages and experience the staggering mountain view. It's a little bit cold up to the mountains, so bring warm clothes. Sapa itself is the main base here, an old Friend Hill station, and now a bustling and forever growing tourist center. That is a stark contrast to the sumptuous, tranquil countryside right on its doorstep. I repeat again, Sapa is like French name, so it's like S-A-P-A, so it's really beautiful cities, surrounded by the pictorial mountains, right terrains, and a diversity of hill tribes in the remote northwest of Vietnam. Sapa is a quiet town frequently used as a base for trekking in the Hoang Linh Sơn mountain and touring rice paddies and traditional villages. There's so many purposes of Sapa. You can go there for hiking, trekking, visiting, just chill out, or holiday trip. From the town, there are many organized tours that aid tourists in mountain hike and exploring the nearby rice paddies and remote villages. I mean, because there are different minority with the Vietnamese people, so there are many things to check out. These tours present views of beautiful waterfalls, the opportunities to experience the food, custom and way of living among the local tribes. You can't find anywhere because it's different culture that is separate. The people who live in the mountain from the people who live in the city, so it's quite unique. One of Vietnam's most historic towns, Huế, is packed to the brim with relics from the relic of the 19th century Nguyen Imperials. Sitting along the banks of the gorgeous Perfume River, the imperial enclosure is a huge site set within walls that sprawl for 2.5 kilometers. While touring the grounds, check out the gorgeous Ngõ Môn Gate, the Thái Hòa Palace, with its finest lacquer interior detail, the dental residence where the Queen Mother would live, and the halls of Mandarins with its preserved ceiling murals. A dazzling number of historic sites lie outside the imperial enclosure walls as well. Situated on the banks of the Perfume River in central Vietnam, Huế served as the imperial capital of the Nguyen dynasty. Today, the vestiges of this former glorious period are reflected in the city's architecture, culture, and cuisine, make it one of the best places to visit in Vietnam. Well, you know, it's so tempting with those streets of the city's monuments. The Citadel is the most famous. Once the seat of the Nguyen Imperials, the Citadel is the sprawling complex of grand palaces, ornate temples, walls and gates. Another important landmark on the river is the city's official symbol, the Thiên Mụ Pagoda. As I mentioned in the previous video about the Thiên Mụ Pagoda, so check it out in my previous video, where it probably mentioned like Vietnam currency, something like that. It's one of the nicest way of visiting a collection of outlying sites is by taking the river boat now cruising on the Perfume River. A day cruise can take you to visit several royal tombs along with some pagodas. If you are short on time, the best tomb to visit is the tomb of Tidok, and the most important pagoda in the area, once again, is the Thimu Pagoda. Why? Well, that's short for 21 meter high. Can you imagine that? A massive pagoda with 21 meter heights, and then it's got like stair, and then you need to step on each stair to be on the top. There's no elevator or any help that carry you up on the top except your leg. So quite interesting one. And then one of the world's best caving destination. Caving. Have you ever heard of that? The World Heritage List Phong Nha Kẻ Bàng National Park is a dramatic crust mountain formation honeycomb with huge caverns, which are home to super stalactite and stalagmite displays. The most popular destination within the park is the Paradise Cave, which extends for a staggering 31 kilometers below ground. The yawning caverns here are truly spectacular. Otherwise won't be in the UNESCO World Heritage, do it. Tu Lang Cave is the wet cave, and a visit here includes swimming through the cave system river. It's quite a unique cave, so it's got a river system among it. The other most popular execution is to the Phong Nha Cave, where the interior is accessed by boat. You can access Phong Nha Kẻ Bàng National Park from Sơn Trạch. Well, because Phong Nha belong to Quảng Bình province, so Quảng Bình is now one of the most popular destination for craving, one of the UNESCO, as I mentioned. Just at Quảng Bình city, surrounded by lush jungle cover mountains. My Sơn is a rural Cham era temple city that dates from the 4th century. This old Hindu religious center was still very much in use during the 7th to the 10th centuries, and only fell into complete decline and abandoned during the 13th centuries. There are around 20 temple structures still standing here, all built of brick or sandstone blocks and showing interesting influences from various Asian empires, including Indian and Malay. Noted that the temples of Group B are the oldest, while the Group A's, not in order, but the Group A ones contained the side's most important monument, but it was destroyed deliberately by US forces during the Vietnam War. Sadly you can't see it. I'm so sorry, but it used to be there and it's really amazing. A good museum on site houses plenty of information on the Cham. Mention one again, the Cham. Access to My Sơn is from Hội An. So Hội An is another historic city. It's got vintage stuff, and if you are a vintage fan, you will be very, very in love with the city. So beautiful Hội An is the most atmospheric city in Vietnam, with parks of surviving historic architecture. The old town quarter is a joy to explore, packed to the brim with well-preserved merchant houses that hark back to Hội An Trading Center heyday of the 15th century, when the town was a major meeting point for Japanese and Chinese merchants who flocked here for the local seals, the seals to make the dress or shirt, something like that. Plenty of the old merchant houses have been opened to the public so you can see what they're doing and you understand more about it. So you can get like a taste of this time, like what was it like to be there that time. The best is the 17th century Turnkey house with fascinating architecture and decorative elements, located off the coast of the South China Sea in South Central Vietnam. So Hoi An is a beautiful old city dating back 2,000 years to the Champa Kingdom. Once again, Cham. The city historic architecture, traditional culture and textures make it a popular destination in Vietnam. I mean, it's quite really popular with a Western travelers. At the heart of Hoi An is its atmosphere. Old Town, which is small enough to walk around easily, like a few walk and you can explore the whole town already. The narrow, winding lanes of the old town are lined with beautiful old architectures, traditional wooden houses, and hundreds of tailor shops selling clothing, shoes, bags, souvenirs, and custom-made services. I told you, like, because it's very vintage, so everything in here, like, mostly handmade. Hoi An major symbol is the delightful Japanese bridge at the western end of Trần Phú Street, while nearby the assembly hall of the Fujian Chinese congregation is the old town's most highly decorated temple. There are numerous small pagodas and museums dotted about town, but Hoi An true charm is found in the simply rambling the old town street, admiring the well-preserved facades. Well, it's a very, very long history to have a city like Hoi An. It's a bit like not really modern, but it's a bit like quieter and very deep city for some reason. And the next city I want to introduce to you is Hanoi, Vietnam's capital. Hanoi is the frenetic heartbeat of the nation and a place that befriends travelers as much as it charms them. The motorbike fancy population and constant glamour of street vendors can get too much for some traveler. I mean, too much to handle sometimes. But if you want to dive into Vietnamese city life, Hanoi is the place to do it. The old town quarter has plenty of dilapidated charm on offer, while history fans should make a beeline here simply to see the bundle of excellent museums. I mean excellent because there's so many museums in here, because so many war and everything, so they make museum to remember that. So the Museum of Ethnology and Vietnam Fine Art Museum are both brilliant introductions to the diversity artistry of the country, while the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum is an important tribute to the founder of the modern Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh. So Hanoi has the Indochina and Vietnam wars to emerge as the booming capital city of reunited of Vietnam, as the heart of Hanoi is its own quarter, an open-air museum of historic Asian and French colonial architecture that has largely remained intact despite the bombing of the Vietnam War. Here among scenic tree-lined boulevards, tourists can browse busy markets, sip coffee at quaint cafes, and visit prominent sites like Grand Opera House, the President Palace, and St. Joseph Cathedral. I mean, I just listed here some of the most popular ones, so if you want to know more about it, I may do a video in depth about each city as well, like very, very detailed, so check it out later. And the next city is Nha Trang. For sunny fun, sunny fun in Vietnam, Nha Trang is the king. The well-maintained beach jungles for 6 kilometers along the shoreline of Central Line, Nha Trang City, and during summer it's jam-packed with local families on vacation as well as foreign visitors. That is the most popular highlight of the city. Beautiful beaches and massive beautiful sun. They excellent swimming here with designated swimming areas and manicure longing area that make this a great option for relaxing day. Soaking up the sun and sand. If you do get bored of sunbathing, the Asian Po Naga Cham Towers are just to the north, a little bit across the Sombong Bridge, and have been used as a place of worship here since at least the 7th century, with some historians saying the site itself has been a place of active worship since much earlier. About the time I'm not really sure when, but it's much earlier. There's also an excellent museum dedicated to the work of Alexander Yersin, who discovered the house of Puponic Blake and founded Nha Trang Pasteur Institute, which still carry out vaccination program in Vietnam today. Well, there are so many intervention that been made in Nha Trang, because Nha Trang people is really friendly, hardworking, intelligent, so if you interact with them you may find some interesting friendship that may last like a very long time. An absolutely fascinating experience for all traveler, not just those interested in Vietnam modern military history. The Cu Chi Then Tunnel are an extensive tunnel network that during the war stretched for more than 250 kilometers, allowing VC troops to operate and communicate in the area surrounding Ho Chi Minh City. Two short sections of network can be visited with a guide who will take you down into the narrow unlit confines, which definitely are not for claustrophobia sufferer. You will literally be crawling on your hands and knees. Oh my god, just imagine that. Because very tiny, especially for Western people at some point. You can access the tunnel at either Ben Din Village, the more popular choice, or Ben Yut Village. But as I recommend, myself recommend, Cu Chi will be the place for you, like on hand and knee to experience. It's amazing. Next one will be Pa Pae National Park. Tranquil Pa Pae National Park is absolutely stunning, with the three interlinked Pa Pae Lakes as its hub, rimmed by jack-carved peaks and thickly forested slopes. Most visitors come here to take peaceful boat trips or kayak on the lake and explore the cave full of stalactites and stalagmites in the vicinity. But for the more active, there are also excellent hiking and trekking in the hills where between ethnic minority villages. This is one of the most peaceful spots in Vietnam. It's really peaceful. And travelers who spend the night here sleep in the traditional sleep house. Sleep house, you know sleep house? Homestay accommodation along the lake shore, allowing an experience of simply rural life. It's quite amazing just to imagine yourself to experience totally different living style, especially when you sleep. It's just a not your comfy bed, but natural resources. The next one will be Mekong Delta. In the far south, Vietnam is where the mighty Mekong River finally finds its way to the sea in a maze of waterways that crisscross the footland, incredibly lush with butterfield vistas and mangroves, and full of local life with chaotic floating markets to explore. Whereas the delta is one of the most interesting regions for travelers to discover. I mean, really interesting because in Vietnam, probably there are only one delta, which is Mekong Delta, and I don't think any in the world that may quite unique like that, so you may explore that. Cần Thơ is the most popular town to use as a base as it close to the floating markets of Phong Dinh and Cai Rang, while boat trips from Cà Mau allow you to explore the U Minh mangrove forest and Cà Mau Nature Reserve. Cà Mau is at the end of a Vietnam map, so if you check it out, you see it. Colorful floating markets, fruit orchard, ripe paddy fields, sugarcane groves, bird sanctuaries, and quaint villages are all what draw many to the Mekong Delta in the southwestern Vietnam. Nickname of it become Vietnam Rice Market. The Mekong Delta is an agricultural region fertilized by the maze of canal and stream fed by the Mekong River, stretching from the Gulf of Thailand to Ho Chi Minh City. The Mekong Delta feeds more than a third of the country with its rich plantation, orchards, rice paddies, and fish farm. I mean, Vietnam is one of the most dry export in the world, probably the second country now, but used to be the first one. So you know, like agriculture country like Vietnam rely on rice, so Mekong Delta is one of them. Next city, Đà Lạt. Year-round cool weather and ideally scenario of misty valleys, lush pine tree, and colorful flowers are some of the reasons that Đà Lạt was once used by Vietnamese imperial and French colonials as a summer retreat. You know, the retreat, because in Vietnam normally the weather gonna be like 40 degrees, but in Đà Lạt probably 12, something like that, so it's really good. Today the charming town is in the south central highlands of Vietnam, is a popular destination for those looking for relief from the heat. A walkable city, Đà Lạt is a beautiful scene of French colonial architecture and village set my picturesque landscape. Well, if you search Đà Lạt, DA space LAT, you'll see like a beautiful city, good weather, food is amazing, and people is super friendly, especially like young people. The next city in Mũi Né. The beach of Mũi Né is just amazing with yellow sand, blue water, and clear sky. Mũi Né is relatively different to the other places in Vietnam. The weather in Mũi Né is right on years in Binh Thuận province, where Mũi Né resides. It's the driest region in the Southeast Asia. It's so dry in there. And even in the rainy season, there seems to be very little rain in comparison to nearby places. So if you like the sun, want to take the most of the sun for your trip, yeah, this could be the best destination for you. If you want to enjoy of the most beautiful beaches in Vietnam, you should visit Mũi Né as well. Mostly from December to April, because in this month the beach of Mũi Né is just amazing with a yellow sand, blue water, and clear sky. I mean, the weather is so clear and you can see the sun, the sky, and everything. Tourists will have a great time laying on the beach under the palm trees. That will definitely be a memorial experience. I mean, memorial, take so many pictures, you can't imagine that you did take that much. It will be an odd mission if we don't consider Mui Ne is as one of the most stunning beaches in Vietnam. Stunning. Mui Ne is located in Phan Thiết, the capital of Binh Thuan province. It is a beautiful beach with many high-rank coastline resorts, which can easily satisfy any traveler. So, I'm telling you, Mui Ne attracts not only international but also domestic traveler with its gorgeous beach and many interesting activities. Besides that, Mui Ne is also famous for kite and windsurfing. As you know, there are many beach activities that you can do in Mui Ne as well, because there are loads of business open for that. So I'm pretty sure if you like scuba diving, skydiving, something like that, you can be. The next one is Ban Chok Waterfall. The most traveler visiting the northwestern border province, Ban Chok Waterfall is a must-see tourist site. The waterfall is in Dam Thuy Commune, Trung Khánh District, Cao Bang Province, on the border with China Guangxi Province. Ban Chok Waterfall is the fourth largest border waterfall after Iua between Brazil and Argentina, Victoria between Zambia and Zimbabwe, and Niagara between Canada and the US. It is one of the 10 most spectacular waterfalls in the world, according to Tourtopia travel site. December coinciding the blooming season of wild sunflower and buckwheat flowers stretching along the sides. Ban Chok waterfalls are difficult to reach if you travel by bus, by car. However, it's worth the trip because of its absolutely stunning scenery. To be assured, just to book the private tour to this place, what to bring traveling to Vietnam. While hundreds of thousands of people travel, experience the wonders of Southeast Asia every single year, and Vietnam is definitely on the list of one of them. And understandably, Vietnam, the lands of emerald waters, tropical island, and an exceptional history, is one of the top destinations in that part of the world. Although visitors may travel on a variety of budgets, trip durations, and holidaying styles, here's a list of essential items that should definitely be packed, no matter what. Here I'm telling you now, these items gonna be. For the most part, Vietnam is a hot country. Even during monsoon season, expect to sweat. I mean a little sweat, or very sweaty, despite the continuous rain. While there are some places in the country that relatively have cooler weather, it's bad if you plan what to pack around the heat and humidity. A backpack. Considering all the walking and traveling you will be doing, a thick strip backpack is necessary to carry all of your belongings. A heavy, trustworthy, usable backpack, like change of clothes, water bottle, sunscreen, and snack for the day. Plus, if you make any purchases along the way, they can be stored safely in your bag instead of in plastic bags that would otherwise get in the way. Next one, travel pillow. Well, you mean everybody need to have a pillow on the way. If you're planning to take on a number of trips around the city, prepare for hours upon hours of time spent on the road. These days, transport within Vietnam offers air conditioning, but a traveler pillow will aid you in getting that much needed should otherwise or in transit. Very good though for some people, but yeah, mostly that. Light sleepers should bring a pair of earplugs with them to get a full night of restful sleep. Restful sleep. Very cheap and effective. They are a way to ward distracted snorer in shared hostel rooms, as well as that wailing baby on that long bus journey, probably across the country. There may be baby traveling as well. About the clothing, woman, probably 3 shorts, 1 athletic pair, 1 denim, 1 board shorts, 2 dresses, 1 maxi, 1 short, 3 tank tops. I tend to stick to basic color to make them easier to mix and match. 1 cotton shirt, 1 dry fit t-shirt, 1 legging, long or cropped it, 1 skirt, 1 long trouser, hippie pants. Buy them in Asia. They are so cheap. You don't need to worry about the price, because like they got big size for you as well, or smaller size, any size really. 1 long sleeve base layer thin, 1 lightweight waterproof jacket, 5 pairs of travel underwear, 2 bikini to mix and match. Please check out my fab bikini video very soon, gonna be go up. 4 pair of travel socks. Have at least 1 hiking bag, which is very very important. 2 sport bra, 1 bra for normal daylight, 1 lightweight travel, scarf or hat. But be careful because it's very very shiny, so you may take extra sun cream as well. 1 hiking boot, trainer, 1 flip-flop. It can be used like very convenient in Vietnam because we don't have carpet at home, so flip-flop will be an easy way to in and out of the house, so don't need an expensive one, so it's fine. 1 sandals, 3 socks, 4 tank top. Well, that is mostly what I need. Like many quite the same as well, so don't worry about too much about clothes, because you can buy loads in Vietnam. If you're planning on loads of hiking, so make sure your clothes is practical wear for that. That are some few tips of me about how to get the best in Vietnam. So if you're interested, please give me a thumb up, and then a comment or advise me below about what topic you want to know next about Vietnam. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye for now. See you very soon. See ya.